So here's a real quick post about a husband who's been married to his wife for 8 months. 8 months. This is pretty early on in the marriage, obviously. Who ends up kicking her out when he learns about her true body count. Where initially before they got married, he mentioned that obviously he hadn't been in with anyone, and he wanted a woman that hadn't been with anyone either. And obviously she lied through her teeth. And after getting married, then it came out, and he's kicking her to the curb, and he rightfully should. And this proves, once again, guys, you got to do your homework and do some serious digging about your gal's past. And for a woman, same thing about a guy before you get married. But here's the thing. You're going to find out they didn't know each other that long before they got married, which was crazy. And, of course, in the comments section, he's getting torn apart by all these people on the far left and gals and all that for, God forbid, having some standards here. Title: Am I the a-hole for divorcing my wife because I found out her body count? He says, I, a 27-year-old male, have been married to my wife, a 28-year-old female, for 8 months now. When I married her, I was told to believe we both still had our V cards because of our religious reasons. But yesterday, whilst we had some friends over, we talked about how young kids these days have their first time and don't really wait until marriage anymore. Meanwhile, he's thinking, not my wife, she waited for me. To which my wife responded with, waiting till marriage doesn't make sense anyways. There are so many safe options now. I chose not to respond and just listen whilst our friend group had a discussion about it. He's sitting there thinking, excuse me, but I'll just sit back and let her talk and see what she has to say. Later that day, I asked my wife if she regrets waiting until marriage, to which she responded, I didn't wait. I wanted to tell you, but I never felt comfortable sharing it. Excuse me? I made it clear what I wanted before we got married. In fact, and you're going to find out, she told him that she didn't have anybody else before they got married, and now all of a sudden you're saying, I didn't want to wait until I didn't wait, and I wanted to tell you, but I never felt comfortable. You mean you didn't want to miss marrying this guy because this guy would be a sure thing and a provider and all that? Deliberately lied to him. Oh, never mind. All nonchalant about this. I have to admit that I got furious and said some things I now regret saying, name calling, etc. Dude, she lied to your face, and now she's being all nonchalant and not caring all about how you feel about it. You have every right to be angry and say some things. And I told her to leave my house. Her parents live 10 minutes away. I feel like I've been manipulated and that I've been keeping to myself for nothing. Keeping being a virgin. We've been dating for 7 months before we married. Smack, smack, smack. 7 months. Now, unless this was like in another country, possibly, an arranged marriage where they knew each other 7 months and got married, if this guy's in the West and he only dated for 7 months and got married, he's out of his freaking mind. And if that's the case, what this tells me is this is a guy who's not very rolling with the ladies, if you will, and marries the first gal that really pays attention to him. And probably because she's 28 years old, was having lots of fun with Chad and Tyrone, the bad boys, and finally when she's ready to settle, found her nice guy provider. You know the story. Another example, 7 months. You're out of your freaking mind. 5 years minimum. You got to know your girl, live with her before. Come on here and do some investigating. He just probably thought, ooh, I got this great hot girl who's a virgin. Yay. When she returned the day after, I asked her what her real body count was, and she told me with me it included, wait for it, 17. Number one, that's way more than none. And number two, I guarantee you, that's a fraction of the real number. Back to American Pie 2, the movie. When the gal said to the young guy, whatever number a girl gives you, multiply it by 3. Whatever number a guy gives, divided by 3, because both parties are full of crap for different reasons. To which she added that most of these were only one-nighters and nothing felt more like real love than with me. Real love, my butt. They'd known each other 15 months. I told her she had a month to pack her stuff and we are getting a divorce. Good job, bro. Thankfully, we signed a strong prenup that stated in the divorce, no matter the reason, our assets would not be divided. She agreed because she is the only grandchild of a very, very rich grandparents. That's why she agreed to the prenup, no other reason. Well, if you've been married 8 months, can't you get it annulled? Now listen to this. My friends and her family have been blowing my phone saying that this is no reason to divorce, since it has nothing to do with our relationship or marriage. Of course they are, but here's the deal. You're 27, a grown-ass man. You can think for yourself. And she A, lied to you to your face about this before, which you'll find out more in a moment, and B, when it got out, how nonchalant she was. It was completely full of crap. The only reason she married him, obviously, she knew he wouldn't marry her otherwise, so she lied to him. And then it's all like, big deal, because she knows, oh, we're married, so the odds are I'll make out pretty well. You got to do what you want to do. Your parents, family, and friends have an issue with that, well, then you can discontinue your relationship with them until they get a better attitude. But I disagree. If I knew she didn't have her V card, I wouldn't have never married her. See? Now he has a few other things he's going to mention. He says, since it was unclear, she flat out told me she was a virgin too when we started dating, and I told her I was waiting till marriage. Right there. Right there. Lied to his face. Lied through her teeth. Because she obviously knew that if she told him the truth, or a fraction of the truth, they wouldn't have got married. Period. After that, I didn't explicitly say I wanted a wife who was also waiting, but there was no reason to, since she was a virgin anyways. Right. To clarify, I was also upset about what my wife said about waiting until marriage. That's why I asked her about it, but the topic, as you can read, soon changed. I hope this will be the last edit. The issue isn't her not being a virgin, as I stated in one of the comments. It's about her not waiting till marriage, which whilst I did. If she married and divorced all 16 of those guys, that would be fine. Although if you had 16 different divorces, I'd probably not be the 17th guy to marry you. In other words, he's more bothered that if she'd been married, let's just say she slept with 2 guys before him, but she was in serious relationships, or in this case, marriage, then he'd understand because at least she was in a serious relationship. But the random hookups and all that, that's not what he wants. So this guy's every right. She completely lied through her teeth, and that's the end of story. Now, here's some comments. I'm going to read 4 comments. 2 from women that are hating on him, and 2 from guys that are speaking reality. Here's the first one, just to show what we're dealing with today's world. This woman says this, and I had to scroll way too far to find this. He is the a-hole just for these gross, archaic ideas and terms. And they're both in their late 20s? Come on. Frankly, I think she's getting a blessing if he seriously wants to divorce over this. She lied through her teeth to him. He has a right to be angry, and she's all nonchalant. How is he the bad guy here? Well, to the effinists, or gals today, of course he's the bad guy. She says, yes, I agree with those of you saying that she should have been upfront. Honesty and respect being a partner between partners is huge. The wife should have revealed the information much sooner in those conversations. Duh. It would have revealed a misalignment, and maybe OP wouldn't have gotten married if all that was a deal breaker for him. Exactly. My issue, she has to have the last word here, my issue is way more with the whole attitude of S-word shaming that the OP's terms and reaction imply. And in most cases, it's way more about policing women's S-word behavior and cast them as dirty. OP even admits his reaction to his wife included name-calling. He has every right to throw names and insults her way because she lied to him to his face. Of course, if the situation was reversed and he did cover something up that was very important to the wife, she'd be calling him names, and I guarantee this gal had no problem with it. And he's not trying to shame her or anything. He wants a woman that hasn't slept with other guys because that's something important to him. He says, I'm sure those were probably terms of S-word shaming as well. And then he threw her out of the house. Wow. I feel like this kind of toxicity, shaming, and secrecy is what creates problems like this in the first place. So yeah, still, he's the a-hole for that. He had every right to kick her out. She lied through her teeth completely. And then it was so nonchalant about that. She didn't even shed a tear about that. But this gal who posted here wants to turn this into something bigger. Because I guarantee you, she herself has very likely been around the block, many blocks, cock blocks, and now has the issue with the whole finding any excuse to throw terms out like shaming, toxicity, blah, 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 blah. This guy had a right to do what he did. Another one. This is from another gal. She says, info, did you tell her that virginity was a deal breaker? I told her, and he says, I told her I was waiting till marriage. Is not the same thing. I wanted a wife who was also waiting is, again, not the same thing. Regardless, she told him flat out, I never slept with anybody. Period. She lied. So, and she knew darn well what he meant. While a lot of comments are focused on she lied, a bigger admission is what spelled ultimate doom for this marriage. I wanted to tell you, but I've never felt comfortable sharing it, she said. You don't trust her because she lied. She never trusted you to be able to tell you the truth. Let that sink in. Let this sink in, lady. She never told him that she had many, many dudes because she knew that it wasn't because she couldn't trust to tell him the truth. It's because she knew darn well that he wouldn't be interested in her. He wouldn't have married her. That was the real reason. It wasn't that she wasn't comfortable telling him. Let that sink in, lady. Goodness sake. Now, 2 more from sensible people. One guy says here, this is the only valid response on here. All these effing weirdos frothing at the mouth over the notion that someone can have standards, or even worse, a religion. So scary and backwards is hilarious. OP just didn't feel comfortable being lied to about something that was clearly important to him. Just another friendly piece of advice, though, OP. Get to know a girl longer than 7 months. It'll make your next marriage a lot easier. Well, before this guy goes off and gets married again, this guy needs to take some time to work on himself and find out why did he rush into a marriage after 7 months. And all the things that attracted her to him, he needs to examine those things. And one more comment. This guy says, I would like to add that I don't think 7 months is nearly enough to be with someone and then become their lifetime partner. Thank you. I set a 5-year rule for the wife and I, as I watched too many people marry and divorce before their relationship even hit the 5th anniversary. Me and the wife are going on our 14th year of marriage. People change as the years go by. You need to know if the changes are going to be something you can deal with before committing for life. Thank you. 5 years, right then and there. So anyhow, I wish this guy all the best, but he has every right to break up with her, but the comment section is full of these people tearing him a new one, looking for any excuse to justify their things that they're already PO'd about the whole patriarchy and misogyny and shaming, all that crap like that. At the end of the day, he had every right to do what he did. Good luck, bro.